Emilokan. Why Tinubu feels entitled to Nigeria's Iron Throne. It is simply impossible not to have noticed the 2023 presidential campaign of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is not just the candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. He's one of those faces that have lasted in Nigerian politics as long as that annoying piece of corn stuck in your teeth. And it's impossible to miss all the viral content he's already accidentally produced as the election's central comic relief. Tinubu first won an election in Nigeria in 1992, a year that millions of people voting in 2023 had not yet been born. His tenure as a senator didn't last long due to General Sani Abacha's military takeover in 1993. But like yeast, Tinubu didn't stay down. He contested and won the election to become the governor of Lagos in 1999 and was a thorn in the flesh of the Olusegun Obasanjo-led federal government for much of his 8-year reign. When Tinubu finished his tenure in 2007, he might have felt he was ripe for the presidency, but he had a problem. Obasanjo, a fellow Yoruba man, had just finished 8 years at the Aso Rock presidential villa. The political climate was calling for a northerner to replace him in fulfillment of an unwritten gentleman's zoning agreement to rotate the president's seat between the north and the south. Tinubu realistically couldn't make an immediate run for the presidency, and so his plotting began. Tinubu's 2023 campaign has been standing firm on an entitled slogan that it is turn to sit on Nigeria's Iron Throne. Emilokan was the soundbite of his infamous rant in June 2022 when the APC was considering choosing a consensus candidate that would likely not be him. Nigerians mocked him for his rant and the soundbite in particular, but Tinubu has turned around to make it the tagline for his presidential bid. Where exactly did the sense of entitlement come from? Let's go back to 2007. In 2007, Tinubu was in control of the Action Congress, AC, a party with enough clout to contest a national election. But since he couldn't compete because of his limited chances of victory, he needed a northern ally to use his formidable platform. For the 2007 election, he found Atiku Abubakar, a vice president and outcast who left the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, to fulfill his own presidential ambition. It was a plot convenience that worked for everyone. It would appear that Tinubu's plan in 2007 was to ride a northerner into Aso Rock Villa. The payoff for him would be the northerner's support for his own shot at the presidency after 8 years. He even tried to be appointed Atiku's running mate, but they are both Muslims and would have upset the typical religious balance of a presidential ticket. Even though Atiku finished in the 3rd position at the polls, Tinubu had hacked a formula to plot his way to Aso Rock Villa through delayed gratification. It was the perfect plan. By 2011, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the northerner who won the 2007 election, had died, and Goodluck Jonathan, his vice president, stepped up as president. Jonathan, a southerner, contested for his first term in office in 2011, spitting in the face of the PDP's rotational arrangement because he already had a taste of presidential power and wasn't willing to let go. But Tinubu failed to run yet again, offering up the platform of the AC, already renamed Action Congress of Nigeria at the time, to another outcast northerner, Nuhu Ribadu. In fact, all the 4 aspirants who contested for the ACN's presidential ticket were northerners, even though southerners dominated the party. Again, the gambit failed and Ribadu finished 3rd. But even before that election concluded, Tinubu's ACN was already plotting with a more established northerner for a merger. In the search for a solution to his presidency problems, Tinubu found one Muhammadu Buhari. By 2015, Tinubu's ACN had merged with other established opposition parties, including Buhari's Congress for Progressive Change, CPC. This merger gave birth to the APC we know today. Buhari had been running for the president's seat since 2003 with little success. But with Tinubu's political structure, he inherited access to southern votes and the APC rose to power on the promise of change. Even then, Tinubu was desperate to become Buhari's vice president. The only problem again was they are both Muslims, and that made the ticket politically radioactive. And even though Tinubu didn't get what he wanted then, the only thing that sustained him was the thought of bidding his time for what the future held for him. In 2015, Tinubu did his part and put a northerner in Aso Rock Villa. All he had to do was wait 8 years for his turn. According to the permutations of the unwritten rotation policy, which has now been thrown inside the dustbin, 2023 is a time for another southern president after 8 years of a northern one at the helm of power. When Tinubu had his infamous Emilokan rant in June 2022, he didn't just weaponize it for himself, but also for his ethnic Yoruba group. This is despite the fact Nigeria already had a Yoruba president for 8 years, unlike the Southeast region which has produced none. Irrespective of his attempt to make it about the South, it is clear that Tinubu's ambition is solely about him and the long game he's been playing Nigeria for years, just so he can retire in Aso Rock Villa. Tinubu now has what he wants: his name on the presidential election ballot, his very own Muslim ticket, and a shot at Nigeria's Iron Throne. But will he ever sit on it?